7 years ago, when I decided to come to Uganda for my education, I had told like a lot of people around me, my neighbors, my friends, family, like, hey guys, I finally got an admission and I'll be coming to Uganda to study. And one of the major feedback I got was, why Uganda? And so, like, you could only imagine that for someone that has never actually left Nigeria before and had never been to Uganda, hearing that was kind of made me hesitant and like reluctant, like, is it really that bad? So imagine my shock and my surprise when I got to Uganda and I discovered a lot of things that were way better than what we had back home. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chatli Abasia, and today we are going to be talking about things that I personally feel like Ugandans do better than Nigeria. So when I first came to Uganda, I remember like when I got to, because I had someone that was supposed to stay, I was supposed to stay with, and then the person was going to take me to my hostel. So when I got there, one of the first thing that I had noticed was, because I was where I was, the school, the first school I had attended in Uganda was like it was kind of like in a village. There was constant power, like, I mean, 24/7 we had like power. I was so shocked. This is something that we struggle with back home. Like, anyone that is in Nigeria would know, like, we struggle with having light in Nigeria. That's why we have a lot of generators and all that. Like, till this day, it's weird for me to pass Uganda, like to pass anywhere in Uganda and see a generator being on, or like people using gen, because in my head, like, I don't associate Uganda to use having a generator. Like, and then like it's not even the issue of having like constant power only. If there's an issue with power, like, they would send messages. Like, there's an app like Umeme, that's their NEPA power holding company, PHCN. We call it PHCN in Nigeria, I believe. And here it's called Umeme, and they have like an app, and like they, if there's like a maintenance or whatever is going on, like, they would send messages to people of the residents of that area that is going to be affected, and let them know that, oh, you are going to you have an issue, there's a maintenance or whatever, so that they know that by this time to this time power will be off, and then like power will be on after certain period of time. And if the power just go off, you can literally call them and tell them like, hey, power have been off and all that. I was in a village in eastern Uganda like recently, and we're having issues with power, and like, I call her my grandma. Like, she would call and like talk to people, and she like talk to them, and she's like, hey, we're having issues with power. And like, it's just so surprising to me till this day. I've been here for 7.5 years, but it's still surprising to me. Like, it's something that I'm like, you can really call, and like, they were being like, they were literally were like, oh, we're going to send someone, or we're going to work on it and all that, and they actually did work on it. So it's not like it's a perfect system, they're still developing, but like, it's way better than what we have back home. Another thing that I noticed immediately I got to Uganda was tourism, because like, I have been able to travel to a lot of places in Uganda, and I'm telling you, I've not even covered half of it. Like, Uganda is like a small country compared to Nigeria, but like, there are a lot of places, like, they are getting to a place that they are really investing in tourism, and they have people from all over coming to Uganda to see what Uganda has to offer. And that's just so beautiful. Like, it's not something that you hear about in Nigeria. Like, you would actually hardly hear people talking about, oh, I came to Uganda to Nigeria to tour Nigeria, or to see what Nigeria has to offer. When mostly when people come to Nigeria, is like mostly for business and all that. So that is one thing that is so very impressive, and they are generating revenue in that area, because like, of course, you have people from different, like, honestly speaking, when you go online and you Google countries to visit for tourism, most of those lists, you always see Uganda among those lists. Like, always see Uganda among those lists. So it's just something that even the school I had gone to, like the first semester where they had like planned a trip for us to go to Queen Elizabeth Park, and we got to see like different animals and all that, which made it like so easy. So tourism, it's definitely there for me, that I feel like because Nigeria has a lot of beautiful things to offer, but unfortunately, our government is not doing a good job with taking care of those places and managing certain places. We have like different museums, but like they are like run down, like places and things that people would like to, you know, visit, would like to see, but like just because of low or bad maintenance, we don't have anybody, and people don't really even know about it. Another thing I would say is security. Honestly speaking, like especially like for the past, like I would say 10 years, security in Nigeria has been like a really big deal. Traveling is like an issue. You are scared. It's either you are going to get kidnapped, or we have armed robbers on the road. Not that Uganda doesn't have, but like it's like you don't you don't see people moving in Uganda and getting scared that they are going to get kidnapped or just like that, or going to get bombed, you know. And like even the issue of armed robbery is like not even as bad as it would be like back home. And I remember, I think 2 years or 1.5 years ago, I was doing a video about Nigeria, difference between Nigeria and Uganda, and I was talking about how Uganda has a lot of foreigners, and like a lot of people came to my my listen to defend, like, oh, maybe where you are from, Nigerians don't have a lot, and Uganda, maybe from where you were staying, there's no a lot of foreigners, but we have a lot of foreigners. I'm like, I'm not saying that there's not a lot of foreigners in Uganda. It's just in Nigeria rather, but the system in Uganda makes it so easy, because no, like somebody will not go with fear of being kidnapped or being like robbed, like you know how like how it is back home. So and the system here makes it easier for people. So you discover that someone can literally, like I have seen people in villages, like from different countries, you know, you Asians, you've seen like Indians, you've seen like someone from the US or from Germany, like living in different part of Uganda, even in their villages, and like living very comfortable life. But like that's not something that you would typically see like in Nigeria. Even if you see it to be like a bit awkward, like, oh, what's this person doing here? But like it's something that it's like very common here and very usual. That's because they feel secure. When somebody feels secure in a particular country, they tend to want to visit more or want to stay more. And then which leads to another reason why I feel like they have a lot of foreigners here is because of their educational system. You guys, I feel like the Nigerian educational system just makes it hard for us as people to just thrive. Like it's as if they're intentionally putting certain systems for us to like just suffer and just go through like this whole process. I remember if some couple of videos back I was talking about the difference between the Nigerian system of education and the Ugandan system of education. And I was telling them about, I was trying to explain about how we have to do like WAEC, you actually write mock in your school, then you have WAEC, and then you have NICO, and then from NICO you have to write your JAM, and then you have post-UTME. And like a lot of Ugandans were perplexed because of how much exams that we needed to write. And then at the end of the day, you're not even sure of getting admission, which is not the issue here. I remember when I was telling my Ugandan friends, like, Nigerian is a thing for people to go and give testimony when they get admission. And the person was like, why would they give testimony? Is it because they didn't do well in school? And I'm like, that's not the case. It's just because it's really hard. The system makes it hard, and then you have to have connections. But here in Uganda, you notice that mostly it has to do with like how good you did with your points. Like if you have a very good point, you get the course that you want. If you don't read well and you don't have a good point, then that's left to you. And then we also have like people that maybe would want to go to like those top universities. Like a lot of people would prefer to go to like Makerere University. So you notice that maybe they have a bit of like a population there. But like the beauty about it is that if you don't get in Makerere University, you have other options. You understand what I mean? Like you can also apply in another university. And then also like in Nigeria, like we have like just one admission like a year. So if you don't get in this year, you have to wait till the next year. My school, let me speak for my school, the school I finished from, like specifically, they do like admission, like I think 2 times a year. We have graduation twice a year. Before COVID it was actually 3 times a year, but then after COVID they kind of regulated it to twice a year. So you discover that people are not in a hurry to force themselves to go into a system or to do a course or go into a university that they don't really like. They kind of want to wait it out and say, okay, if I don't get here, I know I can wait like just few months, like maybe 6 months, and then apply for this university, and they're sure to get, as long as they have that the points that they need. So that system makes it easier. Like in my school, for example, we have what's it called? We have people from that exchange students that are from Germany. We have people from Canada, from the US, from UK. There was actually a Nigerian lady that came to Uganda as an exchange student, and she was like so surprised to see like Nigerians here. So it makes it easier for people to come from other countries to be able to come to Uganda. Like I have had like classmates that are from Japan, from Rwanda, from Kenya. I've made friends from like different parts of Africa, from Zimbabwe, from South Africa, just here in Uganda. And like this is just like a typical thing you see like in Ugandan schools. Like it's not something that is just known to my school. Like if you go to different schools in universities in Uganda, you would see people from different countries. So I feel like that system makes it easier for you, because when I brought my WAEC from Nigeria over here, I wasn't expected to. I had to do a 1 year program, to be sure that I was eligible to apply for the course I wanted. But once I got my points, it was like very easy. I just started my first year and I got it straightforward. So it's like you know what you are getting into. So it becomes easier. I feel like Nigeria as a country, we have to step up. And I was telling my friend yesterday, we're having a conversation. I told her she's Ugandan, and I was like, when you get the opportunity to leave Uganda, please don't leave Uganda and then go to whatever country it is and just go and look for your Ugandan friends, or your Ugandan people, family, and just connect with them and leave that country. Try to learn as much. And unfortunately, a lot of us don't do that. Like we go to other countries and the first thing we look for is people from our country. Try to learn. Like there's nothing wrong with you. Like of course there's something like comforting about you being in a foreign land and meeting someone that's from your country, because you can relate with that person. But at least try to make friends. Try to think about, oh, how can I learn more about this country? You understand what I mean? And also be open-minded. Don't be like you go a lot of Nigerians, they miss it because they come to Uganda and they only pick out things that they feel is bad in Uganda. Uganda is not a perfect country, just like how Nigeria isn't. But instead of you thinking of that, look at the good things in Uganda. You understand? You can go to a country and appreciate your country and be like, oh, we have this, even though this country doesn't have. And it really makes you appreciate your country more and have love for it. But then at the same time, you should also be logical enough to think about things that you think you see that is being done right in a particular country, that you feel like you can take it back home and incorporate it to make your country better. So whoever I'm talking to, like when you travel, please be open-minded, try to learn and try to think of how to improve your country when you are going back. And that is it, guys, for this video. Let me know in the comment section if you're a Nigerian and there are certain things that you have noticed in Uganda that you feel like we as Nigerians need to improve on. I will see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, and thank you. Bye.